Catelyn dunked her glazed donut into the cup of steaming hot coffee, allowing the flavors of sweetness and bitterness to mix. She closed her eyes and savored the taste, letting the warmth wash over her. It was Monday morning, and she was enjoying her favorite breakfast at the local cafe before heading to school. A sudden chill in the room brought her attention back to the present. Looking around, Catelyn's eyes fell on Mark, one of the popular boys from school. She had had her eye on him for a while now, and the sight of him caused Catelyn to feel nervous and giddy all at once. Mark seemed to be alone and a bit lost in his thoughts. Suddenly, he looked up straight into Catelyn's eyes. Her heart skipped a beat. She felt her cheeks flush as he smiled at her. He approached her table. "Hey, Catelyn," he said. "Hi," she replied shyly. "How are you doing?" he asked. Catelyn couldn't believe this was actually happening. Mark was talking to her. She quickly composed herself and managed to answer the question without stammering. "I'm doing okay, I guess. How about you?" Mark grinned. "I'm good. I just wanted to see how you were doing." She smiled back, feeling a little bolder now. "I'm good, thanks." They talked for a while longer, discussing everything from school and sports to music and movies. Catelyn couldn't believe it. She felt like she had known Mark forever and was quickly developing a crush on him. When it was time to leave, there was an awkward pause. Catelyn didn't know what to say, but she soon found herself uttering the words she'd been wanting to say for weeks. Do you want to go see a movie this weekend?" Mark smiled. "That sounds great. What movie did you have in mind?" Catelyn couldn't believe her luck. A date with Mark. She chose a movie they both had been wanting to see and agreed to meet up at the theater. The week flew by, and Catelyn spent every waking moment daydreaming about her date with Mark. She even wrote about it in her diary. Finally, it was Saturday. Catelyn was bouncing off the walls with excitement as she got ready for their date. She put on her nicest dress and styled her hair carefully. She threw on a light coat for later when it got chilly. The movie theater was packed with teenagers and the atmosphere was electric. It seemed that everyone was excited to be out on a Saturday night. Catelyn spotted Mark and waved. He was tall with dark hair and was wearing a leather jacket. His look was even more attractive up close. Mark smiled and waved back. He said, "You look beautiful." Catelyn blushed. They found their seats and watched the movie. Catelyn found herself leaning against Mark's shoulder, feeling safe and warm in his presence. He held her hand tightly, and she felt like the happiest girl in the world. When the movie ended, Catelyn invited Mark over to her house. Mark accepted the invitation. They spent the next hour talking, laughing, and listening to music. Things had progressed to the point where Catelyn felt comfortable enough to nestle herself into the crook of his shoulder. As it got late, Catelyn reluctantly suggested that Mark go home. He smiled at her, kissed her forehead, and said goodbye. Catelyn could hardly contain her joy as she watched him leave. She had finally found the person she'd been hoping for. As she closed the door, she knew that her life had just changed for the better. Now, all that was left for her to do was enjoy the ride.
Do you have a suggestion for a new story? Comment below and subscribe to not miss the next one.